2, 1. What's up, Docs Daily? It is Thursday, February 12th. We are live and in full effect. We're here Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock Eastern here. I'm joined with Craig Trapp, Robert Faringo. I'm trying to mute my TV as I watch Canada kick some ass in Olympic hockey there. We're going to talk a little college basketball. We'll get your guys' opinion on the NBA. I stayed far away as I could.
Oh,
only three games on today. All-Star break. We're about to be only college basketball and some degenerate Olympic betting. But if you want some premium plays over here at Doc Sports is where you need to be. DocSports.com/360. You can use that on either one of these handicappers premium plays over at the website. I can't talk today. It's Thursday. That's how I feel. The link is in the description of the video. Just click it. Robert, all right, were you on the check? Were you against Canada today?
I couldn't care less about any of that.
Stop it right now, you communist.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now, if you don't like Olympic hockey, what are you doing with your life?
I thought you had a Canada jersey on, Lenny, with the red and white.
No,
I was like, what the hell is that?
Red, white, and blue.
Like, get out.
Red, white, and blue. If things get tough, I put the headband on. If things we want to, if we're losing after the first period, Detroit Lenny will be walking around his house screaming at the TV while his wife works.
What? Because is this on tape delay?
No.
This will be live here in like
this
an hour.
Is so yeah. They're like 7 hours. I think I had so it's
70.
Over there. It must be like 9 o'clock.
7 hours. Right? So they're playing prime time at their like 7 o'clock.
Yeah,
but. I don't know, man.
Olympics. Time
that Italy game was good last night.
But why were you not watching college basketball last night, Lenny? Last night's college basketball was awesome. Awesome games. Like you
didn't watch Sweden, Italy. You missed maybe one of the best hockey games I've ever seen. I swear to God. I mean, the Italy goalie who's coming up for the Anaheim Ducks, he's in their farm system apparently. This dude's like 6'4". 265. He's like a giant. I mean, he's a wall, and he stood on his head. Italy played no defense. Sweden just peppered him. I think he had like 49 saves. It was ridiculous. But anyways, we'll talk college basketball for the boys. What do you guys? What did I miss yesterday? Besides Michigan disappointment covering,
they went from almost losing to almost covering. Like it got to like 11 or 12. I was like, if they cover this would be one of the greatest 4 minutes covers I've ever seen. Of course, they did come up short, but it was like, I mean, they were down just 5-6 minutes to go. And this team can really turn it on. I still think Michigan and Arizona, Rob, I don't know about you. I mean, there's a bunch of other teams that I like, but those two teams, I hope they end up in the national championship game. That will be an absolute awesome game.
Yeah, I used Northwestern. I had them plus 15.5. So I was with you. I just happened to check the score and saw that they were up 12 with like 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. I'm like, if I lose this bet after losing Cal by half a point in double overtime, my setup was for UCLA. I really liked UCLA this weekend, getting a lot of points against Michigan. So I was kind of hoping that they would have blown Northwestern out. But that's going to take a little air out of that UCLA play. I don't think I'm going to bet against Michigan this weekend.
Mick Cronin should be I mean, I hate him, by the way, because he's, when I was working for Coach Huggins, he came in and kind of taken over for my buddy, that John Lawyer, that's Foster Lawyer's dad. He was running the camps for my whole, 5 years. All of a sudden he left and Mick Cronin came in, and he's a complete prick, by the way, as you can tell. But man, him on Twitter complaining about the Big Ten and everything pretty much after every game is just like, I mean, it's a must watch. I'm not a Twitter guy, but it's the one thing I like. I have to check after every game, because did you hear him? He was like, hey, I've told the guy, I guess these guys have guys now that go work with the agents. And he said, go to, because all the All-Stars there in LA, of course, because they're playing at the Intuit Dome here. And he says, go meet with these guys and get me a vodka drinking Russian that can rebound. Like mean vodka drinking. He's like, that's the way it works nowadays. So
yeah, just go to Eastern Europe and get a big bear, right? Wow. Michigan State and Illinois back to back over the next 9 days. So we're going to find out everything we need to about Mick Cronin. And
if they can win one, I think it's actually a positive. To be honest, they're going to be 5 to 10 points in every one of them, probably underdogs.
Oh, they're going to be massive. I mean, they'll be 15-point underdogs this weekend against Michigan. That number will be 15.5. Then depending on what happens there, they're at Michigan State, like on the quick turnaround. So they're staying up there. That'll be double digits. Let's assume they get blown out by Michigan, right? They lose by 20, don't cover. Then they'll be 10.5-point underdogs at Michigan State. But UCLA, the reason I liked them in the Michigan game before what happened last night is they're a tough team to blow out. I think I looked back at it. Over their last 146 games under Mick Cronin, they've only lost by 14 or more points 6 times. So they don't get buried. They only lost to Arizona by 4 points earlier this year. Now that was a home game for them, or it might have been a neutral site game in Los Angeles, something like that. But they only lost by 4 to Arizona. So I mean, if they can play with
Gonzaga was close too.
They can play. What's that?
The Gonzaga game was pretty close too. I think it ended up it was mostly within the number. I think they end up right at the end.
Didn't they have the lead at halftime or something like that? It was something where the final score didn't match what the game was.
Yeah, I would say of those, I think Michigan State's the one they match up the best against. First of all, I think Michigan State's of Illinois, Michigan, and Michigan State. I think those are the 3 best teams in the conference. Purdue, I guess, would have an argument there, especially with that win at Nebraska. I had Nebraska, you can't throw them out. But of those 3 we're talking about, I think they have the least talent, just elite level talent. I mean, Illinois, those dudes, they should have won this past weekend, to be very honest. They played great basketball. Illinois is going to be a tough.
I mean, they've lost back-to-back games. The problem is kind of the opposite of what you just said. They have a ton of talent, they do. They have top end dudes, but they don't play good basketball. They take bad shots. They don't move the ball. They don't always defend with the urgency that you would expect. What's their head coach's name? He was known Underwood. He was known at Stephen F. Austin for being really intense defensively. They don't always defend the way that they should. So Illinois has all the talent to be a national championship contender, frankly, but they don't play good basketball. That's why they're not gonna win anything.
Well, I will say this: come tournament time, I always say everybody that doesn't play defense, it's when your life's on the line, or conference tournaments as well. Everybody steps up and plays a little better, but can you do that for 6 games? That will be the question for Illinois. I just don't know if they can do that for 6 games. We obviously know Michigan State will. Michigan size, you get past a guy and all of a sudden you meet a big. Everybody's long and lanky for them. I never thought Dusty May could turn it around this quickly. They're elite defensively, and they can score, of course.
And Lenny, you asked, what else did you miss? There was a lot yesterday. Florida just keeps. I'm going to give you the very Cliff's Notes versions of takeaways from betting. Florida is a juggernaut again.
I was on Georgia.
They walked through Georgia like they weren't even there.
Never close.
USC, Chad Baker-Mazara is out. What happens with his knee is going to determine if they make it as one of those final Big Ten teams. They lost at Ohio State. The Cincinnati-Kansas State game was a joke. I actually was on Kansas State. I can't believe that happened. But I'm glad you're here, Craig. What have I been saying? When Kerr Kriisa does not play, his teams are always – he didn't play yesterday. He's played the last few games while they were losing. And, that guy is one of the worst basketball players I've ever seen. I'm just going to say it. The Seton Hall Providence game, that was very entertaining back and forth. Missouri finally got a road win, and they clipped A&M, who had just been on a heater that, even I couldn't really explain. We mentioned the Michigan game, Maryland. Everybody called out their head coach And what did they do? They came and they beat Iowa as double-digit underdogs yesterday. So there was a lot going on. A lot going on in that.
I thought the Tennessee's fallen out of the top 25. A lot of people, because they lost to Kentucky twice, both pretty close games, rivalry games. People don't realize how much they hate each other. Like that, I still think Tennessee.
Yeah.
Like I first of all, not a Rick Barnes guy though, but like I will say, his last few years, teams are way more likable than they have been. Like when he was at Texas, even the very first.
Sure.
So that was a good road win. Getting road wins in the SEC is just absolutely brutal. So any road win in the SEC is good. And like you said, Florida, I had kind of written them off after their first like 12, 15 games. I was like, I don't really think they're that good. I think I was wrong. I think
everybody was wrong. I mean, they were 5-4 at one point early in the year. They just didn't look good. But now that you look back on those losses, they lost to Arizona by 6, Duke by 1, Connecticut by 4. Like none of those are bad losses now. Right. So
I just thought guard play was going to. I didn't think that was going to be fixed, but it really hasn't gotten that much better. But their big guys are just absolutely dominating. Like, I mean, dominating. And when you dominate by that much, you don't really have to put the pressure on the guards. Now, come to the tournament time, that pressure will be ramped up again because close games, guards got to handle the ball, are going to have to make some outside shots to open up the lane. So there you go, Lenny.
I mean, kind of, but like they're one of those teams that they start all 3 of their forwards, right? Like last year they started 2 of them and they bring Chinle-Yu off the bench. Now they're starting all 3 of them. It's one of those things where like teams physically cannot stop them. Like they basically start 3 guys that are 6'10". Maybe Chinle-Yu is like 6'9", but they start like 3 6'10" or taller guys, kind of like Michigan. Like you physically can't, like no mid-major team is going to upset them in the first round or something like that because they just physically are not strong enough to start them. And I'm a big Boogie Flan guy. I think he's really, really good. He's still only a sophomore. You get these freshmen like Keaton Wagler, like talking about Illinois, who come in and they're awesome. So you look at a guy like Boogie Flan, you're like, oh, he's not that good. No, like Boogie Flan is going to be a pro. Like he's really, really good. He's just not, he's not like some of these freshman mutants out there.
Yeah, I think though, I'm always a guard guy. Like guard play guy for NCAA tournament and for conference tournaments. During the regular season, it doesn't matter quite as much. That's going to be the question for Florida. Like I think they could get to the Sweet 16 if they match up a team that scores a lot of points and can just slow down the big guys and make them shoot outside. Can they make enough shots to open up the paint a little bit for them? So we'll see.
Okay, let's talk about today. Let's talk about today. Hold on, let me tell you 3 picks. This is what I do with Robert. I tell him my 3 college basketball picks. And then he tells me why I'm right. Okay, so here's how it is. I'm on Oakland today, -4. It's now about 4.5. I bet it last night. I don't know what to tell you. I'm on Delaware +8.5, and I'm on Marist and Merrimack over 129.5. Tell me which one loses.
Maybe. I don't know. I kind of like Delaware. I know it's Strike Point Sports.
No, I don't think they win. I don't think they're
I was texting with their guy. They really liked Merrimack today. Well, Delaware plays really slow, Yeah. So like underdogs that play at that slow pace, like you keep the games in the 50s and 60s. I like the Oakland game was on my radar, but I was expecting it to be bigger. I was expecting them to be like 6.5, 7-point favorites. So it was kind of surprising to me that they weren't. So that's the only thing that I worry about.
Youngstown State's like one of the worst against the spread teams, 7-15 on the year.
Who's
that? They're Youngstown State 7-15 against the spread in the year. That's why I thought it would be like 6.5.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like I was expecting it to be more. So when I saw that it was only like 4, I was like, eh.
I was like, who's out? I went to looked at the injuries and I was like, all right, somebody's got to be out.
I think it's overreaction for Cleveland State beating Oakland the way they just did. I mean, 91-78 in a game that Oakland was favored. You know what I mean? So, I mean,
that's when you buy the bounce back, which I like that you did. I'm doing the same thing with Towson. Like Towson played Hofstra over the weekend. I think it was Sunday. They got pasted. It was like 72-47 or something ridiculous like that. I went and looked at the box score. Towson shot 27% on their 2-point field goals. and they were like 16 for 54. I think that's like 28% or something like that from the field. Like it's impossible to do that in back-to-back games. So I kind of like them to bounce back. There's somebody else that I took that lost by like 29. Somebody else that I took today.
Be careful on the Horizon, though. The Horizon is like the most average conference in America this year. Like usually there's one, like a couple good teams.
Yeah.
I'm like this year, Wright State is 11-3 in the conference. Then the Oakland's 10-4. After that, Green Bay is third at 9-6 in the conference. And if we remember Doug Gottlieb's team last year, like how bad they were, they're better this year. Yes. But it's like if you'd put them in the MAC this year, I don't think they'd be 500. And that's usually these are about equal conferences, and it's just not that way this year. There's pretty one, I think it's the top two teams, and this Oakland team is the second team. So yeah.
So if somebody wants a free play, anybody that's watching today, if you want a free play, take Belmont. I like Belmont. Talking about teams that bounce back. They lost to Bradley in overtime on Monday. That's only their fourth loss of the year. They have rebounded from their other three losses to win by 21, 10, and 13 points. They're playing at home. And their last loss came against Southern Illinois on January 4th. The next game, they played Northern Iowa, who they're playing today. They played them on the road, and they beat them by 13 points. So they lose to Bradley. Now they're playing Northern Iowa, pissed off again, but this time they get them at home. I thought that number should have been higher, so I might be walking into a trap here. Northern Iowa is a team that I've bet on a lot this year. I don't like betting against kind of my teams. But look, I think Belmont's really, really good, and if they bounce back, they should win this one by double digits.
The reason this one's a little worry, they play Murray State next. If they lose tonight and to Murray State, they would be tied in league play, and I think they would be split. So this is a really important game for Belmont. So that way, the next game, if they do lose, they'll still have that game lead. So this is a pretty important game outside of just trying to win games.
Because they lost. That's why I don't think they're looking past Northern Iowa. Like, if they had beaten Bradley earlier this week, then yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I ended up using Murray State also, even though they're in that letdown lookout spot. And they're the team that I couldn't think of that lost by 29. They just got pounded by Northern Iowa at home. Murray State's really good. Like, they had like a 12-game winning streak.
Especially at home.
They lost at home by 29 points. And they have that game with Belmont at home coming up next. They're road favorites today against Indiana State, who sucks, who's really bad. Normally that'd be a stay away for me. I actually took a little nibble on Murray State. I'm like, they're going to get themselves right, I feel like, before they play.
I think they have to. You can't lose to Bradley, Northern Iowa, and then play Murray. Like, you're going to.
Well, Murray State's struggling. I will say this. They're struggling. But anybody I've actually went to see them play before when Mick Cronin actually was the coach there. I had a buddy that went to Murray State. And so he's like, hey, go with me. So it's from Cincinnati, you're like, oh, it's in Kentucky. It can't be that far. Dude, it is like 5 miles from Tennessee. So it is as far from Cincinnati as possible. We're on the border of Kentucky. It's like ridiculous in the middle of nowhere. That's why there's nothing else to do in town. Everybody goes to the games, even when they're good or bad. So they do have a huge home court. I do like Murray State. I do like Belmont tonight. And I think both of them are going to play really well this weekend. I think it's going to be a great game to watch this weekend.
See, I actually like Detroit Mercy tonight plus 10.5 because I think Wright State's looking ahead.
I just felt like I was going to the well too much with Detroit.
Yeah,
we've used them. This is their role. They're pretty good in that underdog role, especially catching double digits. And you're right. Wright State probably is looking ahead to that bigger game this weekend. But I don't know. I don't know what it was about Detroit that was just like, I don't want to go to the well one too many times.
It ain't pretty. There's some late games on tonight that I kind of like.
All the UC schools are on. All the UC scores. UC Davis, UC Irvine, UC San Diego.
Yeah.
All of them are within the last 4. It's like, dude, I get them confused. I do this for a living.
Yeah, they all.
And I have to go back and be like, okay, which one did I watch last week? Because it's like we couldn't come up. We can't just call them Irvine. Like, what are we going to call them UC for? Remember when it used to be It was.
Great. I don't know. It's government money, man.
It's like the
They gotta have that in the title.
Indiana IUPUI, Indiana University, Purdue University. We can't call that something different.
Right. Yeah.
We can't call that something different.
You can't go up with something like.
Anybody that's never, if IUPUI, if you ever go downtown in Indianapolis, it's right downtown, and you're like, this team should be good because one, Indianapolis loves sports. Other than Butler, you're in between. It's called Indiana and Purdue because it's basically right in the middle of Indiana and Purdue, like equidistant to both teams. But it's right downtown, near both the stadiums downtown. So it's how you drive by it every time.
I have not messed with the Big West really at all. That used to be one of my favorite conferences to bet, but again, those teams just aren't.
Hawaii's going to make the tournament. It looks like. I mean, they're the favorite.
It's not very good. Yeah, I mean them are Irvine. It'll be them or Irvine
last year, right? They were really good last year, right? Wasn't Irvine?
What's that? UC San Diego went last year. Eric O'Lean.
Yeah.
Because they upset Irvine. And they went to the NIT.
No. San Diego was really good last year. Where did he go? Where is he coaching now? He went somewhere in the Mountain West, didn't he? Like Eric O'Lean was at UC San Diego. No, they were really good last year. Like I feel like
New Mexico. Where did the New Mexico coach come from?
That's Patino. He went to.
Well, Patino went to Xavier.
Is that it? Is Eric O'Lean at? Let me look.
Maybe. I know Patino went to.
Yeah,
Xavier,
that's it.
right?
He went to New Mexico. But yeah, UC San Diego was really good for 2 years in a row. Like I think they won 30 plus games in back-to-back years. So no, they rolled last year through the Big West. But this year,
they're 16-9 too. But it's like all the UC teams are like 15-8, 16-9. It's like, dude, separating these teams is extreme. Right. Cal Poly's like they're terrible this year. But outside of that, Hawaii's really good. And especially at home, of course, like going to Hawaii to play is talking about it's tough in football because, you got to take the whole team and all that. But you have a whole week to prepare, like imagine 3 days and you have to travel there and then travel back and then 2 days and it's the time difference. It's brutal. So Hawaii, I don't know if they can win away from Hawaii enough because where's the tournament this year? I'm sure it's in California.
No idea. Yeah, it got to be somewhere there. That's the big ask. But it'll be them or Irvine. They're the two best teams. Or this might be one of the the OVC. I feel like it happens every year. Like the 6th seed, is going to win the Big West. Like somebody's just going to get hot for 3 days, win 3 games, and then.
Well, here's the Big West: 9-3 Hawaii, 9-3 Irvine, Santa Barbara's 9-4, UC Davis 8-5, Cal State 8-5. Cal State Fullerton, that was Cal State North. Cal State Fullerton 7-6. I mean, it's like, dude, they're all within 2.5 games.
Tell me this. Tell me why Long Beach State in that same conference is 4-8 against Cal State Fullerton. And I get there at home. They lost 5 in a row. I mean, like, I wanted to jump on Cal State Fullerton, but I was like,
they're favored. They're favored for a reason. That's one of those ones where we're reading the number. And, Long Beach State, looking at this now, I wouldn't have known this without looking at it. They've played the number 2 strength of schedule in the conference, right? And Fullerton has played the 9th. So they've played the easier schedule. And yes, they've lost 5 straight, but they only lost to Hawaii by 7, lost to San Diego by 3, lost to Santa Barbara by 3. So maybe their record is a little bit misleading and kind of a muddled conference, but the fact that they are favored when you weren't expecting them to be, that's usually red flag stuff.
Stay away.
No, it's usually bet that team. I mean, the worst team in the conference is Cal State Bakersfield is 2-11. UC Riverside is 3-10. Everybody else is 4-8 or above. So it's like, and if you look at Long Beach State, as he said, they've lost a lot of close games where you're like, man, a run here or there, this team could be.
Fullerton already beat them 71-61, I think. Yeah.
They did. That was at home.
It was in Cal State Fullerton, but we're talking about. I know it's in LA traffic. It's probably 2 hours, but it's really 3 miles down the road, I think.
Was it Long Beach State that made the tournament 2 years ago? And then they fired Munson?
Yes, I think so. That not only made it, but then they give somebody a game.
They won a game. Because I bought my stepson wanted the Long Beach State. They might have went to the Sweet 16 because he wanted and I bought him Long Beach State. I forget what their mascot is. It might be the The Beach. I think it's the Beach.
I think the
Gaucho?
Long Beach
Oh,
State
sorry,
Beach.
that's Santa Barbara. That's Santa Barbara.
Long Beach State, the Beach. That's
The
what they
Beach.
call
Yeah,
it.
it's just
And
it's just
they
beach.
had fired Munson before the conference tournament, and they won through the tournament, and then they still didn't. They didn't bring him back still, even after he won.
Right. Right. And now he's at Santa Barbara, right? Like,
And they're terrible. Like
no,
terrible.
he's at Eastern Washington. Sorry, he's at Eastern Washington.
Okay.
They're under 500. People are like calling for his job, especially outside the conference. They were really bad. They've actually played a little better in the conference.
What else you like today, Craig?
The more I look at this, the more I like Long Beach State. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah.
So thanks for putting that on my radar. Like again, they
Radar.
have two overtime losses. They only lost to Pacific by 3. They only lost to Illinois State by 2. They just have a ton of close losses.
That's
And
fair, but
I got
they
one
also,
for you
this
though.
number they got to
Lenny.
cover 1.5. I just don't.
I got Lenny's play for the day. All in, Lenny, on a free play. I got 3 better plays as my premium plays.
All right,
but the
let's
free
do
play.
this.
Memphis. Last time they played this team, I was actually on North Texas. It was 9.5. They shot like 5 for 15. I'm not lying, from the foul line, and 26%. This is Memphis from the free throw line. They covered by a half a point. Like they were down 11-12. They were playing the foul game, trying to cover, and they did. I'm telling you, if they shoot 50% from the line, they miss a couple 1-and-1s in there, like they would have won by 15 points. So Memphis was so much bigger than them. Like they dominated. They just couldn't score from the outside or make a free throw. So I'm looking
at that box score. You're right. They shot 4 for 15 from the.
And I think 3 1-and-1 misses between the two.
That's some Syracuse level stuff right there. However, North Texas went 1 for 18 from 3-point range.
They could not make it. Neither team could shoot.
57-48 was the score. Of that?
I think between the two teams, they only made like 4 3-pointers in the whole game between the two teams. It was god awful. I mean, they both scored. They didn't score 60 either team. So it was god awful to watch. I only watched it because I had North Texas, and I was down like 11, and they're like fouling. I'm like, yes, let's treat this like the NCAA tournament, and we got the cover by half a point. That's
I have a 7-unit play today for those that are watching.
Just give me the conference.
I won 3 5-unit. Well, where my 7-unit is?
Yeah,
Big Sky.
Interesting. All right.
My first 7-unit play in a while too. I hit 3 5-unit plays yesterday, and if you guys guess it, no, I'm actually
don't tell nobody. Yeah. Don't let Craig bully you into it either.
No, I'm
he'll
going to be
try and
honest.
sucker you out of it.
I'm trying to find.
We'll talk after the show. Calm down.
I couldn't find who. You said Big 12. I went blank in my brain. Even who's in the Big 12 or in the Big Sky. So I'm like, what teams are in the Big Sky that are playing today? That's a conference that I've kind of stayed away from. To me, you got to find 4 or 5. Obviously, all the main conferences I cover. I love the MAC, and I do love the Mountain West. I don't know why. It's like
Mountain West good ball.
It's good. It's a guilty pleasure. Like last night, if you watched that New Mexico and Grand Canyon, it's like Grand Canyon was playing great. Now they've lost to UNLV and New Mexico back to back. It's just like any given night, anybody can win in that conference. It is some fun, and it's late. So it's like after you've watched the game that you probably bet on, now you can dip back in.
Like I can watch Olympic hockey and still watch Mountain West basketball at the end of the night, and that's a good day for Lenny. Okay, that's a good day.
If you'd have said a month ago, I would have said, "Hey, I could say these 3 teams from the Mountain West. These are of these 3 teams. They're going to go to the dude right now." I'll take any of the top 7 teams, and I can make arguments for them. That's fun. Utah State, San Diego, New Mexico, Nevada, Grand Canyon. Maybe not UNLV.
I burned on Grand Canyon last.
Boise
not
State.
UNLV and not Grand Canyon.
I couldn't make an argument for UNLV. I could make an argument for Boise even at 7-6.
They won't get in, but to your point, they're good enough. They are a good enough team with enough talent where they could win the Mountain West tournament. There's not a dominant team. Like Utah State is the best team, but I don't even know that they're a dominant team. Like I don't see them, kind of like San Diego State was there for a few years, where like if San Diego State lost in the conference tournament, it would have been a big upset. I mean, they were playing for like top 3 seeds. That's how good those San Diego State teams. They were going to the Final Four. I don't see that this year. Like to your point, like Nevada, New Mexico, both really good teams. San Diego State still could win it again. Boise State, like that tournament's gonna be wild because I think there's 5 good teams rather than one dominant team and then 4 pretty good teams.
I think they could get 3 at large, like 3 at large teams, depending on who wins the tournament. Obviously, like if Utah State wins, then they're probably only getting 3 teams.
I am going to try. I'm going to the Dominican Republic on Tuesday. I'm going to try and write this article beforehand. I actually did it last night. I jotted down the 68 teams who it's going to be, and I don't remember how many I had from the Mountain West. But
I mean, right now they have in Utah State, San Diego State, and Nevada. Those all 3 teams, 17-7, 17-6, and 21-3. New Mexico at 19-6. I think they're right on the bubble. That win last night, that was before that win last night at Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon,
I don't think
first of all,
Canyon,
you've never seen Grand Canyon. If you win at Grand Canyon, you've done something. That is the toughest place to play.
Tough place to play. That's why I took Grand Canyon last
They're
night.
just not, but again, they're stepping up. Remember, they did most of their damage in the WAC. Like that's a big step up from the WAC to the Mountain West. Like the Mountain West is just this much below major conference basketball, right? Yep. So that's a big step up. And this just isn't one of their better teams. If they had one of their teams from either of the last 3 years and they were going into the Mountain West, they might have won the Mountain West this year. But this team just isn't as good.
Yeah.
Shout out to the new member real quick. I can't pronounce your name. Not going to try to butcher it.
Oski. Well, that's his nickname.
Oski Anderson, 8095. Shout out to you. Thank you for becoming a member. If you're watching and not a member, you can also be a cool kid. There's a link in the description of the video. Click it. It'll explain everything. Go ahead, Chris.
So this is the time of year where I think you have to be careful and people get into the thing where you start seeing the Joe Lunardi brackets and like on the bubble and, this team needs to win. So you're going to play them. Right. And then, of course, it's like teams are on the bubble for a reason, usually, especially in the biggest conferences, the SEC, the Big 12. It's like, this team needs to win more than this team. And so everybody's playing for a seeding. Everybody's playing for a seeding in the conference tournament.
Right.
So it's like, and teams that are on the bubble are on the bubble for a reason. Like, you will see people that leave comments in our videos and they're like, let's just say Indiana should win because they have to win. It's like, dude, it's just not that easy.
The have to win situation doesn't always pull through,
That was my thing about jotting down the bracket right now. Like, I don't give seeds or any of that stuff. Like, that's just a waste of time. But just like who's going to make it. Yep. That's kind of the weird thing is that there's really not a lot of bubble teams. Right? Like that was my takeaway is like, I got to 68 real quick and real easy. And there's only like 3 other teams that I think are even really close. And that's digging deep. Like, is Miami of Ohio going to make it? You know what I mean? Like if they don't win the MAC, like they 100% don't have the resume, but like they're a legit.
I mean, how many losses? I said this with a buddy the other day, cause we're close to Athens here and they play the Battle of the Bricks is this weekend. And then they play again in like 2 weeks. So OU could beat them twice. This is the biggest rival in the MAC. They call it the Battle of the Bricks. If they lose one of those 2 games, they pretty much can't lose again until the conference tournament.
That would mean that they would have to win the conference tournament. And
I meant until the conference
either. I think they have to go undefeated
until the conference tournament.
Yes, and then if they lost in the conference tournament,
for sure.
But again, that's what like St. Louis is kind of in the same boat. Like normally, there's a couple A10 teams, like 2 or 3 A10 teams that you can kind of make an argument for. There really isn't this year. Like same thing in the Big East. It's like Connecticut, St. John's, Villanova, Seton Hall. Seton Hall is a bubble team, like full stop. There's not any other like Creighton, Georgia,
right? Yeah.
None of those teams are going to make it. Like kind of the same thing in the ACC.
But don't you think VCU and George Mason? What's that? You don't think VCU and George Mason, one of them, I think, is probably going to get in the A10?
No, but that's the thing. Like that's where I'm at with the bubble. Like those teams, Miami of Ohio and VCU are the only 2 teams, like 2 of like 4 teams past the 68 that I came up with that are considered bubble teams. Like pull up the ACC real quick. Like you could draw a line at Virginia Tech and that's it. Like that's it. Like nobody below Virginia Tech is even in the conversation. So it's like, okay, Virginia Tech and SMU. I think they're both going to get in. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, like move on to the next league. Like 11 out of the Big Ten. Like in the SEC even. Like you draw the line kind of at like Texas and Missouri. Those are the only kind of bubble teams. Like nobody below that. Auburn's not getting in. Right. You know, unless they win like their next 6 games or something like that. Like it's a weird bubble in that there's just not as many teams. Last year, I feel like there was a lot of teams. There's maybe 12 teams going for the last 6 spots. This year, I feel like there's like 4 teams going for the last 2.
Well, I think there's a lot of teams and they're fighting within their conference. Big 12, ACC, and even maybe not the Big 10 as much as SEC, where it's like, you know, those middle teams. Like I feel like they're going to take one of these the 2 teams, if you know what I mean. Like I think the ACC could be one of them, that it could be SMU or Virginia Tech, depending on how they finish this year. Like I don't think they might not take both. Same thing if you get down to the Big 12. It's like, boy, you start arguing, these teams are going to have sub 500 records in the league play most likely.
But I mean, some of them are around 500 to begin with. That's what I mean. Like last year, the Big 12 got like what, 12, 13 teams, something like that. Like right now, no, you draw a line at Central Florida. Central Florida is a bubble team. That's it. Maybe West Virginia.
TCU, I think. The win last night by TCU, I think.
That saved their season, yes.
Like
I said, I did this before that game was over earlier this week on Tuesday. And, yeah, I mean, that puts them in the discussion because they have that win over Florida earlier in the season too. But, like,
Oklahoma State cost
334th non-conference schedule.
I thought Oklahoma State, if they won on the road this week, I thought that would have been a big, you know, where they could have some momentum. They had a nice rank win. And then it's like you followed up with the loss. It's just like these are, you know, unfortunately, you go in the big conference, it's a positive and a negative. You face a lot of teams that are good. You face like teams that are like you. And if you lose these games, it's like separator come NCAA tournament time. So I don't think the Big 12, the top of the Big 12 is great. The top of the Big 10 is great. I just think the middle of these conferences, it's like, dude, these are just average teams that, in my opinion, I'd rather see a New Mexico get in if it comes down to it.
I don't know about New Mexico. I don't know about all that, Craig.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Did either one of you dabble in the NBA tonight at all or stayed far away?
Run from the NBA tonight. These 3 games tonight are danger, danger, danger. Utah, big news came out. Jaren Jackson's out for the year. He is going to have knee surgery. So that trade. And they were, first of all, dude, they should be investigating the Utah Jazz. They're winning games, and in the 4th quarter, they won't play any of their starters.
Yeah.
How is this? Dude, you just don't play the game. Just set the guys. If you can't play these guys.
Indiana did the same thing, and then didn't they end up winning yesterday, though? Like they sat 4 of their starters. Just didn't even
back-to-back. They won.
Didn't even play them. Yeah, and I think they
and beat them. They
won too, but.
To me, I said this to, I think, Nick the other day. Here's the answer to the NBA. Anybody that doesn't make, first of all, get rid of the play-in tournament. That's the dumbest thing because these teams suck anyway. And have the other 16 teams play an NCAA tournament style, one and done. Whoever wins gets the number 1 seed. That's how you decide the seeding, is they play each other. And so that way, you want to kind of have a seed because if you get the number 1 seed and you play the worst team, and you end up getting the number 1, you're the 17th best team, and you get the number 1 overall pick. Look what Cooper Flagg's going to do for the, you know, and a lot of these guys, these freshmen this year are going to make big impacts in the NBA next year, in my opinion.
Relegation.
That would be, but I don't know how you. The teams are they're worth $4 billion. You're not going to relegate a $4 billion team.
Why not? They do again. They do it in the Premier League. And the Premier League teams.
Yeah, but they have the Champions League. They have other.
But that's what I mean. Like you have the G League. Right,
but these teams are worth like
increases the value.
These teams aren't worth $10 million.
These teams come down.
Like how
they will be after a year in the NBA. Like my proposal would be you relegate the bottom 2 teams. If you get relegated, all of the contracts for all of the players on those 2 teams that get relegated, they are now up in the air. They're not free agents. Like, so the G League team coming up, if you want to grab some guys off these teams, you have to assume their contracts, okay? And if they don't get picked up, those guys go down to the G League, and those teams are still on the hook for their contracts.
That will never.
But that's how you do it. You relegate 2 teams, make them go play in the G League, and they have to win their way up. And look, like maybe they're only down in the G League for 1 year. Okay, whatever. Like that's teams usually tank for 3 or 4 years anyway. So who cares if Utah is in the G League for 1 season? Is it really going to be that much different than them playing in the NBA? Plus, you're increasing the value of those G League teams that get to come up in the NBA. So
here's the thing: a lot of the G League teams are owned by the NBA teams.
It makes it even better.
Yeah,
that makes it even better because you're not losing money. You know, because if you you're
the Utah just Jazz owner. Make the owners sell the teams if you don't win consistently.
No, that's not a real
think about it. Brooke, think about the bad teams. They've been bad for a long time because they have bad ownership, bad leadership, and it's like, dude, the only way, like look how bad Dallas. But look how bad Dallas was. They got Mark Cuban, and instantly they've been relevant pretty much throughout because Mark Cuban came along and was like, listen, I'm going to invest in players. I'm going to invest in, he was the one that had the first shooting coaches, the first, like he went all in on development. And like, dude, you got to think outside of the box. You can't
monopolize. You can't say who gets to own what.
Right, out of life.
Well, I'm not saying who owns it. I'm just saying.
I'm pretty sure there's laws against it.
You can't.
They made Marge Schott sell the team. They made the Clippers
because she was a Nazi.
They made the Clippers.
Marge Schott would be running office right now.
Here's the moral obligations.
We're in post-shame America, but that's the thing. You can't make them do something or legislate it out, but you make it punitive. That's why you go with relegation. Like if you don't want you should
relegate them into college hoops. Like,
because
first of all, the G League isn't the answer because the G League it's worse than college, to be very honest. The college is the next league down.
But again, if you introduced a system of relegation, that would not be the case for very long. Like,
is Alabama going to have to forfeit those games that guy played in?
No, because they had an injunction. They were perfectly within their rights to suit him up.
Right, but could we if they should have waited towards the end of the season, but like, dude, we need a little push at the end of the season. Let's bring in the G League guy back in, play at the end of the season. Oh, well, he's not available.
Well, there was all the to-do about the guy at Baylor doing that was a pro. Yeah. He stinks. Like he
has not helped them.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the guy that's helped last night, I saw him, Arenas, the Gilbert Arenas' son, dude, that kid can play. I don't know if because he's only played half a season because he didn't come back to about 4 or 5 games ago, but he's a pro. I don't know if only playing half the season, if he's going to like be able to, and it's not, his dad has, I'm sure, a lot of money. So it's not like he has to go to the next level. And I'm sure he's on a nice NLA contract, but man, that kid's a pro. It's going to be a pro. It's just too bad he didn't play the whole year. And Mazzaro, how long is he out for?
I don't know. They're real cagey. You know how it is. Like as if college basketball isn't hard enough, like trying to get accurate injury information for college basketball stuff is absolutely brutal. So I don't know. He's not out for the season, but I don't know when he comes back. And they were competitive last night against Ohio State. Ohio State was still dragging ass after getting boat raced by Michigan, though. Yeah. But USC they are not going to the NCAA tournament without.
No, they're an NIT team.
Like, what's that?
I think they're going to be an NIT team, but there'll be a very tough NIT out, I'm guessing.
If he is healthy and is back, they have a chance. Like I had them as like the 11th team to
I wouldn't want to face them in the Big Ten tournament. Like imagine facing them in the Big Ten tournament. And they're probably going to be a worse seed than they should because of injuries. And it's like, dude, now I got to face them. And then all of a sudden, the teams that get the double and triple buys is not an advantage. Like you sit around and then all of a sudden you play a team that's hot. It's a very tough thing. So
well, fortunately, they have a week off and then they host Illinois. Huge game for USC.
They got to win.
So if we're going to see him anytime soon, he will play in that game. If he can't play in that game, then we might not see him until, it might be one of those things where he's out for a month and they just kind of save him for the Big Ten tournament. But they go Illinois, Oregon, UCLA. Oregon is a team to keep an eye out if you want kind of like a sneaky team to bet over the next few weeks. Like Nate Biddle just got back for them. Like Nate Biddle can play. Nate Biddle is Like leading scorer, leading rebounder, great passer. He's missed the majority of the season. Dana Altman's a good coach. Their record sucks. So they're going to be catching double digits.
Shelstad's still out, right? He's going to be out for the year.
Still out. I don't think he's coming back. I think he's done for the year. But they're one of those teams that's going to get a ton of points every game, and they're going to be competitive down the stretch.
If they had Shelstad, that team could have been a borderline tournament team. I mean, point guard.
I agree.
Great.
I agree. They didn't play like it early in the season, though. Like they were a team that I burned money on in November because I couldn't figure out why they were so bad. But I guess none of these guys were healthy early in the season, though.
The funny thing is, I read a thing, speaking about USC, Andy Enfield, of course, left USC. He didn't get fired. He chose to go to SMU. And he said the reason why he left, it was like a podcast, is that USC basically spends all their money on football. And that they were basically the stepchild that trying to find enough NIL money. It was just like, even in California where money's not that hard to, millionaires are on every street corner. He's like, it just wasn't available. And that SMU basically was going to have 70% more than what he had there, which would have been a lot for both football and basketball. So it tells you that even some of these teams that we won't think, which I don't think I would have thought California schools would be having issues finding, especially for basketball, where you only need 6 or 7, 8 guys to pay. So
there's 1,500 schools in the state of California.
Yeah,
right. But there's only USC,
right?
But there's only USC and UCLA that really get the money. So it's like you would think in the big city of California and money out there is just different. They pay $20 for a beer and think it's a deal. Like we pay that in the Midwest, we think we're getting ripped off. So it's like it's just
you are getting ripped off.
You are getting ripped off. Yeah,
I don't give a shit where you're at in this world. You are.
I'm getting ready to go to Turks and Caicos. So Robert's going to Dominican Republic. I'm going to be the same time. I'm leaving Saturday to go to Turks and Caicos.
Everybody's off next week. So
when I was at St. Thomas last year, I was paying Jack Daniels is like, I guess because it's not from there, they I don't know if they have a tariff on it or what, but it would be like $25 for a Jack and Coke. I'm like, what in the hell is going on? So,
it wasn't the Jack, it was the Coke. The tariff is on the
it's on the Coke.
Well, I figured if you get the local island stuff, then you're good.
Yeah, right. There you go.
All right, guys.
All right, boys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Doc's Daily, 1:00 Eastern. Robert will be back. Raphael will be here. I will be here. Craig's, he's already on vacation. He's like these NBA All-Star guys.
Hey, I won't miss a day ever, no matter what.
He's so full of crap. All right, folks. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Good luck unless you're against us. We'll see you tomorrow.